Good evening and welcome to Virginia's Views and Vibes. I'm your host, Ginny Gardner, and tonight my special guest is a businessman. He's a musician, very talented entertainer, community activist, my friend, Kevin MacNamara. Kevin, thank you so much for coming out. There's a busy
pleasure, Jenny.
week,
I'm glad to be here.
And you took time to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
You do a lot of things. You businessman, entrepreneur, you're an entertainer, you do lots of things, community activism. You're involved in everything that is either patriotic or just kind and responsible. So it is an honor for you to be here. It's an honor for me to have you here. But we're going to start with, you sing and you play the guitar. So we're going to start with that, and you chose the song, and it's Cat Stevens, father to his son, but there's a story behind it. Would you like to tell the story first, or?
The story goes that Cat Stevens wrote a song about his dad. In writing the song, his father and him didn't get along that well. And it reminds me of the way I was brought up. My father did the best he could. There were the World War II folks that had this one way of looking at things. And he used to say to me, Kevin, do this, do that. I never knew him because he died. I went off into the service at 19, and I had kind of left under conditions that wasn't the best, but I got drafted. And what happened was I realized when I was overseas in the military in Vietnam how much my father meant to me. And that song came out in the 60s and early 70s, maybe, 69, 70. A father to a son, and I never forgot it, because it talks about the father talking to the son and the son talking to the father. And they just weren't getting along. So I'll sing this song. Yeah. It's a beautiful words. Cat Stevens hits it out of the park, and every time I sing it, I think of my father. So here goes. It's not time to make a change. Just sit down, take it easy. You're still young, that's your fault. There's so much you have to know. Find a girl, settle down. If you want to, you can marry. Look at me, I am old, but I'm happy. I was once like you are now, and I know it's not easy to be fine when you find something going on. Take your time, think a lot, while think of everything you've got, or you will still be here tomorrow, and your dreams may not. Now the son talks to the father. How can I try to explain? When I do, you turn away the game. It's always been the same old story. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way that I have to go away. All the times that I tried keeping everything I knew inside, it's hard, it's so hard to ignore them. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen now. There's a way, Dad. I have to go away. I have to go away.
Bravo. Bravo.
And that song reminds me of my father, because I didn't have the best relationship with him. And then on my way to overseas, my father was giving me a ride. And he said, Kevin, you know I had to do what I had to do. There's the door, get out. And I said, Dad, I'm surprised you didn't do it sooner. And I grew up in the military.
Yeah.
And those days, they meant a lot to me. But the way I was going in my life in Newton, my buddies in West Newton, I never thought I'd be sitting here today if I didn't go in the military. And it did have very much an effect on my life and a lot of the guys I was in, because we were drafted, some out of college, some out of their jobs, some out, whatever. But it was a very tense time. And I brought my flag here because we belong to the Post 440, the Sons of the American Legion, here in Newton. Very good organization, and if you're of mine, call me up. I have a little beauty shop in Auburndale, Kevin Max Hair Design, and I'll get you in the right people, and we'll get you a part of it. All you need is somebody in your family that was in the military all the way back to the First World War.
That's right.
But this flag means a lot to me. It's a 3x5 flag that we put 188 flags on the bridges in Newton. And we put them on, we put 4 on each side of the bridges.
Thank you.
And when we do,
There you go.
they mean a lot. And a lot of times, Denny, I find that some people steal them, some people light them on fire, and some people slice them up. And what I'd like to say to those people, you come with me to the Veterans Hospital and tell those, if I catch them, tell those to those military men that are in there why you did that. And one of the reasons is, it seems like in the last 20, 30 years, the indoctrination of thoughts of children in school coming out, they don't have that, whatever it is, esprit de corps, to love the country and love the flag and love what it stands for. In Vietnam, we used to see it shot up and we'd get out and put it back up on the flagpole. And again, I wasn't a rah-rah ziskumbah when I got out, even out of the service. But I feel like as I get older and see my family and my grandchildren, I want them to understand that this country isn't free. Nothing's free. And the way we conduct our behavior throughout the world, America is the shining light on the hill. And I still believe it through every election. You know, everybody gets a little out of sight when they have these elections, but 4 years, gang, you can change it if you want. But we still have the best opportunity to do these things.
You know, it's funny you mention that because, you know, as kids growing up, we all grew up in these little small towns. Newton, when we came here, when I came, I was born here, but when we moved to Auburndale, it was this little small town. And I want my grandkids to have that same feeling about where they live. Maybe not the small town like we had. It's certainly not with social media and the games that they just put in front of them and all of that. But I want them to have the same feeling that they're safe here. They're safe in this country. And they're safe for a reason. The police, the fire, a military. I didn't travel out of the country until I think I was about 19. And the same thing, I had gone to Spain, and then we went over to some island that they said was Africa, who knows. I was young. And I looked for the flag. Even at that young age, I looked for the flag and I felt, okay, we're safe. I want them to have that feeling. I don't want them to hate. Sure, everything's not perfect here, but it's close. It's about as close to perfect as you can get.
Yes.
When you can pick up you know, the phone, call someone, call a radio station, and say your piece, and you're not arrested when you hang up.
Yes.
Speaks a lot, speaks volumes.
Social media has changed the climate of the youth, whether it be in school, with doing your work on the computer. The things we had to do, we had to go do research on our papers and so forth if you were in school. And at a certain age, you know what I'm talking about. The small areas of Newton where the innocence of the time, and now things become wealthy, and wealth begets more wealth. We didn't have the wealth.
No.
We had moments where we played and enjoyed the city and the time that we had allotted to us after school. And it was great. It was great to grow up in a city like Newton. We were in West Newton. You could have been in Newton Center or Newton Corner. And it's like going on a safari to get to these places.
Yeah.
And if you went over there, I was a firefighter for a while. And they sent me out to Engine 10, which was up on Dedham Street. And I had Dedham Street. Years ago, I have a beauty shop, and some of the people I used to do, they'd be 130 now. They used to work in farms up there.
Yes, that's right.
The different farms,
Yes.
and they milked cows before they went to work or went to school. So, I mean, that was Newton, and I'm still alive to remember it. But the music was something. I remember in Vietnam, we used to listen to all this kind of music. It was anti-war. And when I came home from the service, I didn't really care about politics. I just wanted to get home to my family.
Was your dad alive when you came home?
He died 2 weeks after I walked in the door.
Oh, wow.
And my mother died a week after that. And I remember we had a 10-year-old sister, and I don't want, none of this. People had to realize that that was a sad time in our life. But everybody has a sad time. Just look at the news. Look at what's going on around the world.
Yeah.
You prevail, you rise above it, and you move on. And my brother Ray, who was a firefighter, he kept telling me to take the police and fire exams. And it was at the time you could make a living off those police and fire. You could go to school in the GI Bill. I went nights. And my issue was I could buy a house on a fireman's pay. And I married a woman that's a nurse.
Yeah.
And in those days, you could buy a house for $35,000.
That's right.
In Newton.
Yes.
2 family. And get rent.
But you have, Vietnam. You were at the line of fire. I mean, you fought.
I was
war.
in a base camp called Lai Kay. In Lai Kay, we used to do Morse code. And we do this information that we put it on teletype, and we give it into the intelligence, and they do what they want to do. What happened was I was very, very fortunate because my job kept me contained in the base camp. I didn't have to go out looking for the Viet Cong. They came occasionally looking for us.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I'm looking around the world. Sometimes I'm glued to the TV on what's going on in Ukraine and Israel. And I feel like some of the children that we go into the schools because of the veterans group that we belong to in the American Legion, we have our moments where we go into All-American Day, we go into the Memorial Day, Veterans Day, we go in and we speak to the kids in the high schools, Newton North and Newton South. We try to make them realize that, again, freedom is not free.
Right.
And a lot of these children, they have questions. We have Q&A after. We have veterans that come in and speak to the children. It's a very, very important part of high school. Because junior high, I get it. But high school, you can be drafted if you're 18 or 19. And I was 19 when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I had stayed back 1 year.
Yeah.
When I went from parochial to regular.
Made that
I don't know what that
transition.
was all about.
I love the All-American Day that we do at Newton North and Newton South. And all the American Legion Auxiliary, and the Sons of the American Legion, we all participate in it. And my part is the missing man table.
Yes.
My husband and I brought that to Wayland, Newton, and someplace in New Hampshire. We do the portable, mobile missing man.
Yes.
And when I read what that stands for, I'm always shocked to see some of these kids focus on my every word. They're like sponges. They absorb it, what I'm saying, and they're not messing around. They're not sitting there looking at their phone. we have their undivided attention. And I have yet to be to one where someone hasn't come up, one of the students, and asked more about it, asked to see it. And I know they come and ask you questions too.
They do.
It gives me hope. It really does. It gives me hope.
Ginny, what you just pointed out, can you imagine a mother or a father having a child in an environment with a combat environment and sleeping at nighttime, worrying and praying to God that your children come home safe, and you have the MIA, and you have the missing man table, and these children that do come up and they ask questions. It's serious, folks. These children of they're 14, 15, they come up into the high school.
Yeah.
We set it up, Ginny sets it up. We have the pictures of the names of the deceased in Newton from the different wars. And we're not warmongers. We just want to let people know that this is the other side that keeps people safe. Remember, there's about 3,500 people under arms to protect the world.
Yeah.
We have technology that is highly sophisticated. We have what's going on in Ukraine and Israel and so forth, and that can escalate. And let's hope that we can diminish that escalation by not having to worry about a parent lying in bed at night worrying about their children in a far-off country that you can't even find certain areas on a map.
Yeah. We were young with the Cuban Missile Crisis. The thing I remember about it was when it ended, I was at the birth school on Ash Street, and the fire department was behind us. And every Friday at noontime, they'd sound that alarm, and we had to, this was supposed to protect us, you know what I'm going to say? You had to get under your desk and kind of cover your head. Yeah. That was how, after the Cuban Missile Crisis, how we went forward to protect ourselves. But the thing, I read about that because I was young, and I read about it as I got older, and the thing that impresses me the most, that I kind of feel maybe we don't have it today, is Nikita Khrushchev and John F. Kennedy did not want war. They wanted to solve this diplomatically, and they spent, I think it was 12 days, trying to solve this, not go to war, to the point that they even named the quarantine, which was in actual fact a blockade, to Cuba. They didn't call it a blockade because calling it a blockade would have meant war. And I wish that now going forward, and I pray, and I'm optimistic, that our president on January 26th, 6th or 26th now? 20th. Yeah. I was right in between. Will use diplomacy and stop this World War III that could approach. But then that's what I'm going to talk about for politics a little bit, because I want you to tell a funny story. When you were in Vietnam, you were sitting on a tank, cleaning your gun or something. Yes.
My brother Robin was in Hair on Broadway. Yeah. He was the lead of Hair on Broadway for 3 years. And when I was away in the service, my brother sang a song called "Lay a Little Lovin' on Me, Lay a Little Lovin' on Me." So I knew that was out. And in 1970, I was in a bunker with a weapon and so forth, and we're looking out over the fields. And we had a little transistor radio, remember those? Yeah. And the transistor radio, we had one station in Vietnam. It was called the Armed Forces Radio Station.
Pat Sajak.
Anybody who was there remembers it because that was the only station.
Yeah, Pat Sajak, right?
Well, I was going to get to that. But,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Robin had a song called "Lay a Little Lovin' on Me." It was a high-pitched. If you listen to the Bee Gees, they have a high-pitched sound. So the disc jockey said, "Doesn't she have a good voice?" after the song was over. And I said, "What? That's my brother from Boston." So I was working with communications. So I was able to call to a place called Fuloy, and they patched me through to Saigon. And I said, "Can I speak to the head DJ that just explained that song as a female singing that song? That it's my brother." So they will patch you, we'll get you right through. So the fella answered, he said, "Hi, I'm the DJ that said it." It was the lead DJ, a head DJ. It was Pat Sajak from A Wheel of Fortune. He was the head DJ from 69 to 70 on the Armed Forces radio station. And I was so proud. And he said out over the air, I'm very apologetic. The brother of that singer is in Lai Kay in 3 Corps in Vietnam. And you folks that were over there, you know what I'm talking about. It was outside, about 30 miles west of Saigon. And it was a beautiful part of the world, believe it or not, but
Yes.
there was a lot of interesting stuff going on.
Yeah. And that would have been, and you mentioned, again, transistor radio. That time, we lived with our transistor radio. And there was no replay of the song.
No.
You had to wait for it to come on again. And it wasn't, what we have now. My gosh, the technology. But interesting time. To, but I want to read something else up. You mentioned the Post 440, American Legion, SALs and the American Legion Auxiliary. One thing, we go all year long. We do a December, I'm going to miss the date, 19th. We're doing the gift card party. And to come, we have great entertainers. Kevin will sing for a little bit.
At the Post 440.
295 California Street.
Yep.
And we'll have something to eat. It's always delicious. Kevin will sing. You'll get to hear the La-Las. If you've never heard them, you're in for a treat.
It's like the Supremes. Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Diana Ross and the Supremes. Okay, we'll go with that. That's our story. We'll stick into it. And then to get in, you bring a $25. You can't bring, if you want to donate more, you have to get individual gift cards. $25 each, and that's your admission in. And on Christmas morning, this tradition that was actually started by the Newton Republican Party, by the way, Tom Mountain, Ora Mountain, Sandy Young, Larry Young, Margot Einstein. They started this, and then we kind of jumped in and said, we'd love to be in it with you, and it's grown. So we go to a veterans homeless shelter, and we bring the gift cards, give them out, and Kevin's there, and now his granddaughter, and the La-Las, and we all sing, and even the guys sing, and we give out those $25 gift cards, and it's the highlight of my Christmas.
That area that Ginny's talking about is a hotel that was retrofitted on Court Street down in downtown Boston near the City Hall and so forth. You get a feeling of not only satisfaction, but you're giving back something, as Ginny explained, that we give out gift cards. But then we have a sing-along, and they can sing whatever. And it's about an hour and a half, and it's Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And boy, you feel like you've given back to something or somebody. And the folks, the auxiliary, the SAL, Sons of the American Legion, we're all there to give our time to these people that are beaten up by the war. They don't have any places to go other than that.
Yeah.
And it's like the angels have come in and helped these people have a bed, a warm meal, and a shower. Yeah. And think of yourself in that situation. And we're lucky. We're just lucky.
Yeah, I love doing it, and we did something in the summer. It was the boat down the
boat, the boat ride down the Charles River.
That was fun too. You sang
to the Watertown Yacht Club.
Yep, and
Nick
boat
Pascarosa.
Yep, that was Nick Pascarosa, and he organized it. We had a lot of volunteers. Same thing that day. Lots of volunteers. We did some singing, and the 2 gentlemen that were on the boat with me and Nick, they just, once we started listening to him, they just wanted to talk with us. They had my undivided attention. They crave it. And then one older gentleman said, I think I remember you. This is a compliment of my life. My sister's probably at home rolling. But you sang last year at our Christmas gift card party. And we loved hearing you. And I thought, well, my kids never let me sing in church, and no one else thinks I can sing. So thank you so much. It was a riot. It was a riot. So appreciative, too. They
Ginny,
really
I find that when you go home after work and you sit on your couch and you just watch TV or whatever, there's sometimes you can find time to give a little bit of time to some cause or some event that it just makes you feel a little bit better.
Giving back.
and giving something back to yourself, because, you know, I'm in my 70s now, and I look at my grandchildren, and I'm constantly explaining to them about how beautiful the country is and what it means, and it makes me feel good that they all they're involved now. My grandson just joined the Veterans of Foreign Wars in New Jersey.
Really?
And he's 14 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I was surprised to hear that. So it rubs off.
It
And
does
it's just a
rub
little bit of patriotism.
It does rub. Now my grandson Lucas is 11, and he's been leading the pledge for our 9/11 memorial every September. I think he's on to 4 years, and he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it, and I love seeing that. And my older grandson too, a little bit conservative, and he gets it. You know, you don't have to be extreme one way or the other, but if we have them in the middle, they respect the country, they respect the president, no matter who or she, you know, whether male or female. They respect the country, they respect that, and believing that maybe they're all trying to do their best for the country and keep us out of World War III. I think we've done our job, and the parents sure have. And with 2 minutes left, any other song that hits you when you sing it?
Song that I sing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could, with 2 minutes, you could sing us out.
Only child alone and wild, cabinet maker's son. Hands were made for different things, his heart was known to none. Lost his way and went alone on his tarry way. He gave to me a gift I know never can repay. Mild man of music, denied a simple fate. Tried to be a soldier, but his music wouldn't wait. Lost his way and went alone on his tarry way. His gentle means of sculpting souls took him years to understand. Leader of the band is tired, his eyes are growing old, but his love runs through my instrument, his heart is in my soul. I'm just a poor attempt to imitate my dad. I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band. Thank you for the music and the stories on the road, Dad. Thank you for the freedom when it came my time to go. Thank you for your kindness and the times when you got tough. And Papa, I don't think I said I love you near enough. Leader of the band is tired, his eyes are growing old, but his love runs through my instrument, his heart is in my soul. I'm just a poor attempt to imitate my dad. I'm just a living legacy to the leader of the band.